This is my absolute pride and joy. My one of just 83 UK Volvo S80 V8s and one of just 26 S80 Sports. Now, I've owned this car for the last 2 years and I've been somewhat reluctant to review it because I feel like I won't be able to do it justice. Those who have seen the S80 V8s will know this one's obviously been debadged, so there isn't anyone that would know what's hiding under the bonnet on this car. This is probably the best thing to come of Volvo being owned by Ford for 8 years. Due to pressure to perform in the US market, they fitted a V8 to the S80 and the XC90 between 2005 and 2010. Now, naturally, Volvo didn't have 8-cylinder engines. They had 4, 5 and 6 cylinder at the time. So due to Ford's connection already with Yamaha developing the 1.7 Z-Tech, I think it is, they then developed this 4.4 litre V8 with Yamaha. Now, Volvo had switched to a front-wheel drive layout prior to the P3, P2 platform, which meant the engine had to be mounted transversely in front of the axle, front axle. This required a narrow bank V8 to be developed, just 60 degrees, and therefore, due to balancing issues, they had to add a balancing shaft to smooth out the engine. So what we have is something even more unique than a V8 in a Volvo. We've got a transversely mounted V8 in a saloon car. This should make the car front heavy, but they've managed to make the car completely balanced despite having all that weight up at the front. The engine develops 311 horsepower and it's mated to an Aston Warner 6-speed auto box. There was no manual option available in the UK, and this then drives a Haldex operated 4-wheel drive system. With a 0 to 60 of just over 6 seconds, it's not quite as fast as the German offerings, but let's face it, if you are looking to purchase one of these, I doubt very much that you're comparing it to a 550i. And the Volvo reputation for safety and comfort more than makes up for any lack of speed. Plus, people expect German cars to be fast, whereas this unassuming Volvo old man's saloon doesn't look like it could beat anything off the market lights. What I've always found funny about this car is the fact that the loudest thing on it is the heater motor. The engine is nigh on silent inside the car. And whatever they've done to smooth it out is incredible. My car's on 92k. I've recently seen one for sale with 258,000 miles on. So if you get the opportunity to have one of these cars, and I highly recommend getting one if you can, don't worry about the maintenance costs. It's no more expensive to maintain than a German car, and it's probably more reliable. Having a V8 cramped up in the front of this engine bay means heat is a big issue. I'm not sure if it's an issue in terms of reliability, but I was just doing a service on it the other day and I had to replace one of these plastic pipes and it had just crumbled. I was removing the airbox and it just crumbled in my hand, and this is heat fatigue. And also, when I've had these covers off, of doing the service. This is all heat damage as well. It's a very, very hot engine, which is great in winter. Lots of options became available at this point in Volvo's history. I was never a fan of the P3 floating dash. Really don't see any use for this area here, and anything you do put there, you end up forgetting about. Mine was an early one with less options, and I think the blind spot indicator and lane assist, cruise control guided by radar, all those sort of things, this has fortunately missed out on, and this is another thing that drew me to it, is the lack of the later options. They aren't an over-exciting design inside, but everything's pleasant and high quality. It's lasted really well. That seat's fully back. You can see just about squeeze someone small in there. Shouldn't be in there. Ski chute. Somehow. Okay, not very easy to open, ski chute. There you go. It is a large car, therefore it has a large boot, plenty of room for golf clubs or whatever it is people carry around. One thing that this car introduced me to, which has been an absolute blessing, are heated and cooled seats. And I can't tell you how good cooled leather seats are. Just an absolute other level of comfort in the summer, especially in a black car like this. Now finally, before we go for a drive, I've got these special keys. This is actually a keyless fob. You can still stick it in the ignition, and it has this extra info button which tells you whether the car is locked, unlocked, the alarm has been off, and then there's another light as well here which will tell you if the alarm's been off in the last 5 minutes when you press this button. So obviously we've got green because the car is locked. Now with these keyless keys, you can just walk up to the car, pull the handle and it'll unlock immediately. Also, when you've got two keys, potentially more, depending on who unlocks the car, so which key unlocks the car, the seat will automatically move into the preset position for that key that's being used. And we can use the button on the door handle to lock it. Taking full advantage of the cooled seats today. Hottest day of the year so far. Now on this car we have the optional 4C suspension, and it's very notable when you use the different settings. So right now I've got it in comfort because we're down the lane where I like to do my videos. Comfort, it's very boat-like on the road, but makes a huge difference when you do need to drive it on uncomfortable terrain. tend to drive the car in sport, but there's also an advanced setting, and I believe the difference between sport and advanced is it seems to change the weight of the steering. Now, in the options somewhere on this screen, I can't remember how you access them, but you can adjust the weight level of the steering. There are 3 options as far as I can remember. I can't remember how to get into the menu. Oh, there we go. Menu, car key settings, car settings, fold mirrors when locking, light settings, lock settings, steering force level, low, medium, high. And right now it's on low, which I'm assuming is because it's in sport. But yeah, not something you expect to get on a Volvo. I was never going to handle like a German car, but if you want something that handles like a German car, then you buy a German car. This is one of the ultimate sleepers that you can buy off the shelf. Something interesting about the setup, so obviously the V8 has 311 horsepower, I think some say 315, some say 310, depends where you look. They had quite a lot of engine options that developed over the years up to the final models, and there were the 5 and 6 cylinders, which naturally can be modified up to whatever power you want. They always kept them below the power output of the V8, and this must have been to keep the V8 as the flagship model. Apparently the S80 is limited to 155 miles an hour electronically. Whenever I've driven the car, I've only managed to do 1500 miles a year in it. I've enjoyed it, so I haven't been shy with the accelerator, and my average is showing as 18 miles per gallon. Now, that might sound bad, but as a weekend car, it really isn't all that bad. And the previous owner used to do quite a lot of long distance in it, and even myself, I've seen, if I put the cruise control on at 70 miles an hour, it sees well in excess of 30 miles per gallon, about 35. Compare this to the V70R, this is actually much more economical. What does let down the S80 V8 are 2 things, in my opinion. The vehicle excise duty is currently £760 a year, so about £66 a month now, I think it is. This, on a car that you don't use every day, really does have a big impact. It's not a nice feeling to be paying £2 a day just to have it sat on the drive. The other thing is the gearbox. I think if this had a gearbox that was comparable to the 8-speed auto that goes in the BMWs, this would have been an unstoppable force. This car, it would have really been a full-on competitor to the German cars in terms of performance. As many Volvo owners will know, and I've personally experienced, the gearboxes are not the strongest point on the Volvos. Basically, they use an Ace-in-Warner box, which is a Japanese manufactured box that's used in loads and loads of cars, mentionably Lexus, who have a service interval on them of 40k. Volvo sealed them for life, which means that if they don't get serviced, which they don't have a service schedule, so why would you, they tend to fail just above 100,000 miles. Now, being enthusiast owned, obviously this car, it has had attention to the gearbox, it has been serviced, so it's still okay, it's still working as it should do, but you put your foot down, it takes absolutely ages to kick down. It doesn't know particularly what to do with itself. I had my foot nearly to the floor then, and it didn't drop down. You've got to literally plant your foot to the floor to get it to kick down, and even then sometimes it's just so slow to react. That was foot down for a good 2 seconds before it actually did anything. And it's such a shame, really, because the engine sort of deserves better. We do have the Tiptronic side of it. I don't know what. So I suppose at least allows you to hold it in particular gears. I believe I nearly forgot two of the other things that I meant to show. You don't have to put the key in the ignition, which means that obviously you can have this in your pocket and the engine's running, everything like that. If you get out with this key, say you walk into the shops and you leave your passengers in here and walk off with the key, and it doesn't just do that a couple of times, it does that constantly. Now, by this time, if you've got the window shut, you've already walked off. You have no idea that it's making this horrible noise. And it just sits there doing that constantly until someone switches the car off. And the other one, not the parking sensors. What do you think happens if you forget to put your seatbelt on? But it's not just that. You will not forget to put your seatbelt on in this car. I don't think anyone could continue to drive like that. This will actually be the final video I do on this car, because sadly in less than 2 hours this car will belong to someone else. So it's quite an emotional day for me, but it's necessary to keep moving forward, and I hope that this video has somewhat done the S80 V8 justice, giving you an idea what it's like to own and live with. Please do keep a lookout in the future for more videos by me. I'll be looking to own and review up to 1 car a week, hopefully, but ideally 1 a month would be fine. And hopefully get some much more interesting cars in the future. Ones to look out for in the near future are 2010 Nissan Cube, 2010 Mercedes E350 convertible, 2005 Porsche Cayenne V8, and the current tow vehicle Nissan Navara D40 2010. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next videos.